Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Fernavi Star Wars, and today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about Luke Skywalker's character arc and why, quite simply, it doesn't make sense in The Last Jedi. And here, what we're going to talk about, we're not going to take into consideration any of the books, and primarily the book that came out, which is called Legends of Luke Skywalker, or any of the other canon literature that has come out to date that talks about Luke Skywalker. The only thing that we're going to take into consideration is Return of the Jedi, The Force Awakens, and The Last Jedi, and how his character arc or his transition from Return of the Jedi, or the original trilogy, his character arc from the original trilogy, and then from that into The Last Jedi makes absolutely no sense, and why it's upsetting so many fans. Now, it goes without saying, and I mentioned it in my first video, which is titled Why Fans Hate The Last Jedi, that this is the most divisive Star Wars film that I have ever seen among Star Wars fans. The most divisive film. At least with the Phantom Menace, the Attack of the Clones, with the prequels, everybody was able to come to common ground where they said the Phantom Menace was boring, but it had great lightsaber sequences. Attack of the Clones was boring, horrible romance story, but again, great battle sequences. Now, when it comes to The Last Jedi, if you loved it, you're getting scrutinized for it, and you're not being called a genuine Star Wars fan. If you hated it, you're getting scrutinized, and you're not being called a genuine Star Wars fan. And quite frankly, it's ridiculous. The movie had its flaws. The movie had also great things about it. But when it comes to Luke Skywalker's, and this to me was one of the biggest flaws, if not the biggest flaws of the film. When it comes to Luke Skywalker's character arc in The Last Jedi, it made almost no sense, if not zero sense. Because when you take the events that happened in the original trilogy, and let's talk about the events that happened in the original trilogy. Luke Skywalker, you have somebody who his aunt and uncle died, goes and decides to train with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi dies. He destroys the first Death Star. He's discovered to be Force sensitive. Empire Strikes Back rolls around. He fights Darth Vader. It's revealed that Darth Vader is his father. Return of the Jedi rolls around. In Return of the Jedi, it's confirmed by Yoda that yes, Darth Vader is his father. And then he has a conversation with Darth Vader, and he says with Yoda, and it's confirmed with Yoda as he's talking with him, and he says there is still good in him. And then later, he has a conversation with Obi-Wan, and he says the same thing to Obi-Wan, and he says to Obi-Wan, there is still good in him. I can feel it. So then it's decided by Luke Skywalker, by Luke himself, he decides, I'm going to go on a suicide mission, and I want to redeem my dad. Because I feel the conflict within him. In that scene, where he is talking with Darth Vader. He's having a conversation with him in that hallway, and where Darth Vader is examining his lightsaber. He even tells him, that's why you couldn't kill me, because there's conflict within you. I can feel it. You used to be Anakin Skywalker. I can feel the conflict within you. He goes on a suicide mission to redeem his dad. There's times where he's trying to avoid the fight, and he's saying to him, I will not fight you. I can feel the conflict within you. As Palpatine, as Darth Sidious is there, being a jerk, and is giving negative influences in there. He's being a negative influence. He's giving his dark side influence to Darth Vader. He's trying to be conflicting at the same time. So he's going literally on a suicide mission, doing everything he can to redeem somebody who should technically be irredeemable. Somebody who's a proven Jedi killer, who's killed more Jedi in the galaxy than any other Sith Lord to ever exist. And yet he went out there to redeem his father. That is who Luke Skywalker is. And what does The Last Jedi do? The Last Jedi takes the character who we know and love, spins it around, and says, yeah, no, he's not a redeemer. He's a failure. He's a failure because he decides that he wants to kill Ben Solo because he sees the conflict within Ben Solo. He ignores it. He only sees the dark side inside of him, his dark side tendencies. He sees that Supreme Leader Snoke has infiltrated his mind, has twisted him, has turned him to the dark side, and because of that, he decides in a moment of instinct, as the way that the movie puts it, that he's going to kill him. And before it's too late and he can turn back, Ben then realizes he's going to kill him, and then he pulls down the HUD on him. And then Ben Solo goes and destroys the Jedi Temple. Where would Luke actually do that in Return of the Jedi to Ben? On top of that, where was it where Luke decides to tell Leia, hey Leia, you know what? Ben's having dark side tendencies, so I'm thinking that maybe we need to kill him. He's talking to Snoke. He's talking to Supreme Leader Snoke. Supreme Leader Snoke's talking to him. Hey, let's talk to Han. You know what? Let's have an intervention. You know, Darksiders Anonymous. You know, let's try and get to the bottom of this. Let's try and figure something out in the interest of Ben. But that doesn't happen. That's so outside of his character because that's not who Luke was per Return of the Jedi. And that is what's so frustrating because that's not how his character was ever portrayed in Return of the Jedi. So you have The Last Jedi, which spins everything around, and then you have fans who are looking at it and saying, well, you know, people change. In 30 years, people change. And that's true. People do change. Personalities do change. Personalities change in your teenage years. Personalities change when you're developing your mind. This is somebody who was a grown man already by the time he faced his father, who decided that he was going to be a redeemer. So you mean to tell me that this man is in his 60s or he's in his 50s and then he decides on a limb, I'm going to kill my nephew because he has dark side tendencies. How does that happen? When does that happen? And then on top of that, why is it that according to this movie, that he would leave a map behind to go and find him, or that he would go to Ahch-To to find the remnants of the last Jedis or the first Jedi Temple to die? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you go to the last Jedi Temple to die? What for? Why would you go to the last Jedi Temple to die? So, what makes it so special that you had to go to the last Jedi Temple to die? Again, it's so outside of Luke's character, and it's so outside of the fact that it doesn't follow the preset storylines that were established in Star Wars Episode 7, in Star Wars The Force Awakens. Lor San Tekka had a map that wasn't complete, to lead to Luke Skywalker if the galaxy needed him. That led to Ahch-To. That led to where Luke Skywalker was. That led to the coordinates of the last Jedi Temple. Han Solo even said, hey, after one of his apprentices had turned against him and destroyed everything he went in search of the last Jedi Temple. Well, what for? To die. Why? He didn't go seeking knowledge. He didn't go seeking anything. He just decided, yeah, you know what? It's time for everything to end. That's so outside of Luke's character. That's what makes everybody upset. But hey, you know what? That's just one man's opinion. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys think I'm wrong. If you guys agree, let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, man, I think that this just went so outside of Luke's character that it is beyond frustrating. It is beyond insulting. It's a slap in the face to people who have waited for 30 years to find out now what is it that Luke was doing this entire time. And it turns out that after he made this Jedi temple and one person destroyed it all, he wanted to die. That's sad, man. That is not only is that sad, that's just Luke is not a failure. And Luke proved that he's not a failure in Return of the Jedi. He's a hero. He's a hero. He's a hero. That's all I got to say. Let me know if you guys agree in the comment section below. For Navi out.